Hello out there, and I've got a quick follow-up video for you today about Grail knives, specifically your Grail knives, the ones that you chose in my holiday giveaway video just a couple weeks ago. So if you didn't see that video or weren't involved in the giveaway, not really a big deal, but what we did was in order to enter that contest, you had to comment what your Grail knife was. Those are the parameters. That's what I wanted to know. So whatever knife you were chasing or whatever knife is your dream knife for your collection, that's what I wanted to see in the comments. And every time I ask a question like that, I always get the best responses. Just always some really interesting stuff. And this time it was so compelling that I figured I would just compile all the data and make a top 5 list and share it back with all of you, the 225 people who entered. So that's what we're going to do today. Nothing too serious, just a little bit of fun seeing what your responses were. And what we have for just a little bit of eye candy, because we have to have a knife in the knife video, right? What we have is a Hinderer XM18 Wharncliffe with a jade scale. This is a very worthy Grail for probably a lot of people. One in particular, I think, and we'll get back to that in a bit. But this knife specifically is on loan to me from my buddy George. He is serving the military right now. He's overseas in Syria, and the last time that he was deployed, he sent me a couple knives, and he did it again this time just to check out. So I really appreciate the thoughtfulness and his service. So safe travels for him, and I will definitely be taking care of your knife. But let's just get into what knives just missed being in the top 5. All right, so these ones just missed the top 5. We've got the Shiragorovs, we've got Chavez, Medford, Microtex, the Spyderco Nirvana, and the Spyderco Schlicht Bowie. So a couple things that you'll probably notice right off the bat. With like mass-produced brands like Spyderco, Benchmade, I went with specific model numbers if they were designated. All right, but everything else like Shiragorovs, any kind of like mid-tech companies or lower production rates or custom stuff, I just sort of grouped together. You know, stuff like the different variations of the Chavez knives, just grouped all those together. Microtex, there's so many variations of some of their models that, again, put them all in one spot. And I did the same thing with Hinderers and Chris Reeve. So just want to make sure you're aware of that. One more thing, though, to take a look at when we're talking about these knives here are the Spydercos. Those are both being discontinued, the Nirvana and the Schlicht Bowie. So while these were already just really high quality knives and great knives to be a Grail, they will probably become even more hard to get your hands on. So definitely, if you're able to get one and you're looking for one, now is the time before the prices get too extreme. But now, getting into the actual top 5, starting with the Benchmade Anthem in 5th place. 7 total responses for the Anthem, which is really interesting to me, seeing that that's a new knife, new for 2017. So it hasn't had all that much time to pick up much steam and much reputation over like a long period of years. So very cool to see that. As a Benchmade guy, the Anthem is definitely a model that I'd like to get my hands on as well. So I can completely understand that many people saying the Anthem. 4th place. Back to Hinderer Knives with 11 total responses. All right, a lot of those responses were XM18s like this one. Some of them I think were Hinderer half tracks, just a few different really cool models from Hinderer. One thing specifically that I want to get to is there was one person who said that this exact knife, I think, was their Grail. An XM18 with the Wharncliffe blade and the jade handle scale. And Parker Tilson, if that is right, if I got that right, and this is the exact knife that you're looking for, you picked a good one to be your Grail, bud. Hopefully you're watching this, and if you are, I just want to let you know, continue the chase, man. It'll be worth it in the end. Hopefully a knife like this finds its way into your hands very soon, and you're able to get that Grail, because this one is definitely worthy of that status. All right, so good luck to you in your chase, but it is going to be very difficult for me to send this knife back when it's time. 3rd place. Another really interesting response. Grimsmo knives. And not interesting because of the quality, because their reputation is just off the charts. And the level of I guess, almost insanity when it comes to people trying to get their hands on these knives it's legendary. They're very expensive, and even if you have the money, it's not easy to get one. And the Grimsmos that I saw, the most popular one, I think, in the feedback of 18 responses was the Norseman. But, you know, I think there are a couple other models that are, you know, just really up there too. And yeah, just one of those things that a lot of people just aren't that familiar with the brand, and you know, it's not accessible to them. I know that personally, I had collected knives and had knives for years before I'd even heard of Grimsmo. So you know, it's one of those things that when you have 18 people out of 225 saying that it really goes a long way to show you the quality of the knife and the level of detail that goes into every one of them, and just how hot a commodity these things are. So very cool that they are in third place. Second place, we have another Benchmade, and it is the 940. The Benchmade 940 with 20 responses. Now, most of those responses were the 940-1, which is the carbon fiber version with the S90V blade steel. But other 940s made it into that 20 responses as well. And for me, makes total sense. Great knife. Absolutely one of the core knives that when you think about Benchmade, it is their flagship. It is the one that that people go back to all the time as just one of the best EDC knives ever, and I can't argue with that. I can't argue with it at all. I absolutely love the 940s that I've had, so this being up there, no surprise to me whatsoever. But number one, another one that really wasn't a surprise, 24 total responses, Reeve knives. So again, I have the Reeve knives all grouped together. Most of these, though, are Sebenzas. There were a couple Inkosis and Umnumzans, I think, but yeah, for the most part, we're talking about different variations of Sebenzas. And this is just one of those knives that, man, for me, and I'm sure there are some other people like that, when you get into knives and you hear about nice knives, one of the first ones you hear about is the Sebenza. You hear about Reeve knives, and it's just it just has this this aura about it, and that has always been the same way with me. And maybe once I own one, maybe it'll change. You know, maybe just that feeling about Reeve knives will change once it's a real thing in my hand. But I've never owned one, and that's why I'm actually number 25 on this list. Because my Grail, my current Grail, my Grail, the one I've been chasing the absolute longest, is a Reeve Sebenza 21 in Singo. Been wanting one of those for, man, as long as I've liked knives. You know, as long as I've known about them, I've wanted one. And so, yeah, for me, just definitely the top of the list. Very cool. Hopefully it is as good as it is cracked out to be if and when I do get my hands on it. So that's really all there is, guys. The top 5 right there. Reeve number 1. The Benchmade 940 number 2. Grimsmo's number 3. Hinderer's 4. And the Benchmade Anthem number 5. All right, so thanks for watching. Any questions, comments, complaints, suggestions, let me know down below. But take care, and I will talk with you soon. Have a good one.